So, because I'm kind of half-witted right now, I guess it's time for some what the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Huh?
What the fuck? News. 10,000 scrotum frogs die mysteriously in Lake Titicaca. Now, besides that sounding damn near biblical as far as like what happened when Moses was, fucking with the Egyptian cat at the time, and they're fighting over this power, and there's all this plague and all this shit that happened. What's actually happening in the world where there's the most aquatic frogs? Like I said, there's some kind of, all the pollution and shit that's been gathering, and pollution is gonna happen everywhere. And don't even get started about how the fucking U.S. is and its ozone layers, all this bullshit. There's I don't even know how to explain or how to get into fucking scientific shit about how fucking just dirty shit is that these natural beings are fucking dying off, and so many, in fact, that they've now, become endangered. But besides all that shit, they're fucking called scrotum frogs, and they come from the lake Titicaca. And for those that maybe don't get it, but titty, a bosom, a woman's bosom is what we usually refer them to in its most blatant way. And caca, for those that, I'm not too sure how many other languages, but definitely in Spanish, it's just another word for shit or poop. So just Titicaca sounds like a fucking, maybe like an R. Kelly position or something like that. No, he wasn't into scatting, he was more into pissing, but still, same goddamn thing. And that's interesting. This dirty shit is that these natural beings are fucking dying off, and so many, in fact, that they've now, become endangered. But besides all that shit, they're fucking called scrotum frogs, and they come from the lake Titicaca. And for those that maybe don't get it, but titty, a bosom, a woman's bosom is what we usually refer them to in its most blatant way. And caca, for those that, I'm not too sure how many other languages, but definitely in Spanish, it's just another word for shit or poop. So just Titicaca sounds like a fucking, maybe like an R. Kelly position or something like that. No, he wasn't into scatting, he was more into pissing, but still, same goddamn thing. And that's interesting. In other realms of sheer destruction by the cause of our fellow man, urine is eroding the world's tallest church tower. Which is a fucked up thing. This goes back to what I was mentioning earlier about having to, keep up maintenance and, all that shit. It fucking costs. And it says that officials are now responsible for its upkeep because of this fucking Gothic tower, which is actually what they're blaming is, and just to kind of give it further backstory, this is some German town, Wartenberg, or however you say it, Ulm. I can't fucking do German accents, but apparently this tallest church tower is under attack because the aggressor of human urine that just so happens to be pretty much smack dab all around all these fucking bars. And I'm presuming that, and I've never been to Germany, I would love to one of these days. I guess they're allowed to drink as part of the culture. It doesn't, like, I guess nowadays more conservative, Christians or whatever, they frame about how bad alcohol is and shit like that. But in other countries, they fucking embrace it. Like, say you go to a fucking Irish town, I'm pretty sure it's right next to the goddamn cathedral. And then the same thing, like, all these bars are around there. So when these motherfuckers, are out pissy drunk, they literally have to fucking piss. And I'm not too sure, if there's not security cameras, if that even stop them, if you could put fucking little electrical traps so they could, zap the nigga in his pecker. But, motherfuckers drink, you're gonna piss. Unfortunately, there's this fucking holy fucking thing, and I'm not too sure if people are doing it out of spite because they're drunk and they're angry at God, or they think it's the most holiest place to fucking do it. But it's a fucking meeting ground, so to speak, for all these motherfuckers to come and piss. And I could just imagine if it was a faggot town, they all be blowing each other and everybody would be having a gay old time. But yeah, no, they're pissing, and it's hitting the roots. And for those who would have missed it, episode 3, Deep Roots, and actually I all the way around just forgot to mention it, but when the roots are deep, there is no reason to fear the wind and all the shit that it shakes up. And again, dealing with deep roots and fucking consciousness and nuances that help it sway into, other branches. Fucking, there was a store clerk who, quote unquote, was aroused in suspicion because there was a man moonwalking through the aisles, Now this motherfucker, I guess, was supposedly erratic, but he was just moonwalking from aisle to aisle, trying to figure out what the fuck he wants. And how high on cloud nine must a man be that he's fucking moonwalking, up and down the fucking aisle, trying to figure out, should I get hot Cheetos? Should I get extra hot Cheetos? Fucking dum 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 dum. Or some bullshit, but apparently this motherfucker had like a $2,000 bounty on his fucking head from some other fucking Neptune township. But pretty much fucking a gas station employee was fucking freaked out by the dude, called the cops, and turns out actually that he was on heroin, and there was just, and I don't know if it was a big bust or not, but yeah, a moonwalking helped fucking arrest a man on heroin. Now, in more half-headed news, there was a half-headed man who was charged with larceny after setting a mattress on fire. And this cat, you might remember from a 2012 YouTube video, and he literally is missing like fucking the better part of his skull. And apparently, when he was 14, he was in some kind of like auto accident, supposedly drugged out of his mind, flew out the fucking front window, landed on his skull, so luckily it protected him. But anyways, this cat obviously fucking on some mental bullshit was fucking trying to burn down this fucking, not trying to burn down the complex, but there was two people in the room. I'm assuming it was the bitch and somebody else, and he lit up the fucking match on fire in protest. And you look at this guy's mugshot, he looks drugged out of his mind, he looks twacked out, nigga looks crazy. I wouldn't fucking want him around, and I mean, even if he were to get another motherfucker in the same situation as him, I really wouldn't think that two minds would be better than one. So shouts out to Mr. Carlos Rodriguez from Miami, Florida, further showcasing that all the crazies are in Texas, AZ, and Florida. So good luck, brother, man. So from What the Fuck News, just what the fucking politics.
My country is the big sweet land of liberty. My
bitch, do the jazz hands. Yeah! Now, my nigga Donald Trump is causing a divide amongst white people. The fucking sound the alarms. Now, there was a show that Amy Schumer was doing in Florida, and she was talking about Trump, talking about politics, kind of doing her fucking shtick. And this gentleman who she brought on stage, was an older cat, which kind of already lets you know, the mixed crowd that there was. Because even when she did that one movie, the train wreck, some old man, also in Florida, fucking shot the head out of two bitches who were lesbian, possibly, either which way, going away from the norm that he grew up in, regardless. So the old man was on stage and pretty much just references that he couldn't trust Hillary, lying ass Hillary, or whatever the hell her nickname is. I think it's lying or thieving. I think crooked Hillary is what it is. And mind you, by the time you hearing this, I'm pretty sure she's already fucking president. But regardless, whatever, it's gonna happen. Anyway, so she goes on to say, okay, well, what did she say? I appreciate that, and that was just cool to hear that one guy who doesn't seem like a psychopath. Why would he want to vote for that orange, sexual assaulting, fake college starting monster? Now, mind you, yes, do I think fucking Trump is a fucking horrible human being? Yeah, no fucking doubt. But once again, he's just talking shit. It's offending people. I actually saw a meme earlier. They had the traffic signs. One sign said right lane ends, and the other one said left lane closed. And that was pretty much the 2016 presidential election summed up in just one picture. And it was fucking very true. Because obviously, whatever, you can't fucking deal, and oh fucking well. But once again, what she has said has sparked the assholes of a few folks, and they legitimately just fucking walked out of there. So, fucking A. I mean, there was a woman actually who, this dumb bitch, had mistaken a fucking town hall meeting for a Donald Trump rally. And I'm not too sure if it was just all the white people that she thought, okay, this is a bunch of fucking hicks, a bunch of Trump supporters. So this bitch thinks it's one of Trump's rallies, and she smears over 30 cars with smooth peanut butter in protest. Now, that's a fucking weird-ass way to do so, because if you want to fucking cause some harm, you make that bitch chunky so they can fucking chip away at the fucking things, but that's a whole lot of time to have to butter up a fucking car. My goodness, like I get fucking anxious just trying to fucking go over the crust because I look at that blank spot and think to myself, I want to bite some peanut butter in that fucking bite right there. Let me get them corners. But to do a whole fucking car, Jesus Christ, bitch, you have way too much time on your hands, and I can't deal with it. Now there was a guy who, this happened in Hollywood, obviously, with the Star Walk of Fame shit. And this guy was pretty much dismantling the Donald Trump star and the Walk of Fame, and people had already done it before by putting "Don't vote for him" or just don't vote, or one says racist, another one says fucking shit I can't even fucking read. I don't fucking know. But then someone had like stencil painted like a mute sign, like to mute him, which, I mean, that's what you gotta do sometimes. When people just talking crooked out of their neck on some bullshit, that's all you can really do. You gotta let the motherfucker live, but you know what I'm saying? Don't listen to his ass. Another one, which I thought was the most catchiest and definitely wasn't defacing property, because the guy who fucking tried to fucking jackhammer this bitch was defacing city property. Like, regardless that someone has to pay to get that, because people aren't just giving a fucking star. You gotta nominate yourself. People gotta donate like $30,000. We know how this motherfucker is about donating money. Regardless, you're defacing property. Anyways, the cutest one, and I'll try to post a picture on this, it was like looks like cinder block fence all around his little star, just as he said he's gonna do if he, were to become president, to keep all the Mexicans out. I love that there's an American flag, there's barbed wire, and then even there's like a little tiny picture of little Jesus on there next to like the caution signs, which I thought was fucking just moving, whether because the Latino demographic is gonna believe in Jesus, or just because, just to show like this is how you peacefully protest. This is how you talk your shit. You don't fucking go harming and defacing shit, which, mind you, when they do this shit, the fucking rallies, I'm just like, okay, well, this is obviously the extremes. This is our domestic terrorism. This is just motherfuckers that really can't cope, and makes me wonder if you ever got to play with kids when you're little. Fucking know. And it's same shit about statues. Trump, who had one not too long ago, him bare ass naked with a little dick. People were enjoying it. People were, talking shit, taking pictures with it, all this shit. Well, Hillary had one, and her was a little bit more, I guess, classy, if you want to say anything. I mean, they had her in panties, so her chonch wasn't showing, but they had her pretty much like bare-breasted with fucking some banker guy, like, about to nibble on her titty, which, mind you, is a personification of what we're dealing with and why they say she's in bed with them. And obviously she is a politician. She is legitly a politician. We could talk shit about Trump, having no fucking experience, fucking being a piece of shit of a person, but he's real. Now this bitch is a politician. She's thieving. She knows what to say, how to deflect, how to block, and give you what you think you need to hear. She's gonna give you the teta, and honestly, that's what my girl does. When she wants to shut me up, she puts a titty in my mouth. I ain't mad at that. She knows how to shut me up, and she gets what she wants out of it. So you do what you gotta do as a woman, and I thought that was damn near fucking poetic how they did that. But what I was trying to say is that they took down that fucking thing 3 hours flat. Some bitch was knocking it down, trying to cover it up. Like, why weren't we doing that with Trump? Why didn't we give a fuck about how that motherfucker was feeling? But we're gonna say this is disrespectful? Like, this is art. This is a poem. This is a true-to-life poem. But yet we gon', show a nigga with a small dick, and that might be so because he's like 6 foot something with tiny hands. Which, mind you, I ain't knocking, brother. I'm sorry. God bless you. But how we gonna let this bitch get through? That almost seems sexist in a sense. And then we want equality. Ain't that what you bitches are babbling about, thinking about putting Hillary in the fucking chair? That we gonna have all that? But we ain't showcasing that, and that just seems a little two-faced to me. Now, and let me get off of politics and some other crooked, twisted things, which I'm not too sure if a double negative cancels itself out, but there was a North Carolina judge that was convicted of trying to bribe a federal agent with some Bud Light. Yeah, a Superior Court judge was convicted on Friday, charges due to a bribe of a federal agent over 2 cases of Bud Light just to get a copy of some text messages. It was a copy of the text message of the judge's wife and some other man. Now, okay, obviously it's a breach of privacy. But if the fucking NSA and shit can see shit like that anyway, if a motherfucker's trying to obtain that information and maybe protect himself, his assets, I mean, he already had questions about his wife's fidelity really early on. So I'm pretty sure if he's at the point where he knows the other fucking number and he's just trying to figure it out, I mean, honestly, if I would have, if I'm the, if I'm paying the bill for the phone, I don't know why the fuck I just couldn't have gone through the app to try to figure that shit out. Now, obviously, if it's maybe using an application that he doesn't have a password to, then I can understand it. You figure this nigga was just trying to pull a few strings to have evidence that his bitch was cheating, right? Maybe to get himself out of having to give the bitch half when eventually these two run away or something of that nature, right? But what I feel bad about actually for the judge, because even though he's supposed to be a lawful man, so in this fucking case, he is technically breaking the law and he's fucking bribing someone in order to do so. Originally, like I said, he had agreed to it being, 2 cases of Bud Light. And then later on, and I'm not too sure if the fucking FBI agent was kind of being salty because they're supposedly buddies, and I'm not too sure what kind of made him not do so, unless maybe this was his sideline and he was fucking the judge's wife, who knows? He, I guess at the very end of it, instead of giving him the 2 cases of Bud Light, technically he goes to give him $100. Now that's a definite fucking transaction there. But I don't know if it would have made a difference if it would have been, giving one item for another item, like if you're bartering. I'm not too sure if that makes it okay, and that's probably why lobbyists get fucking prostitutes and shit to fucking, give them a, thumbs up for a job well done or for a transaction well received. And by the way, we've talked about it before in the I'm Black, He's Mexican podcast about shit like that and just how there's actual laws that caps off a limit of what you're able to spend on prostitutes or that in which is considered a gift. And if you work for any kind of corporate shit, they fucking tell you some bullshit like $25. But pussy don't cost that fucking cheap, especially when you're dealing on a federal line. But I kind of feel bad for the judge. He was just trying to, get evidence that he's, that his bitch has a relationship with some other motherfucker. And although that is, breaking privacy defiling it, and I'm the biggest fucking advocate against that kind of bullshit. I mean, this kind of case, it was for his well-being, and it sucks that, he had to be in such, he has to be an example. And, point blank, that was a breach of that. And, you're a judge. Now,